Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the Note Strategy Hour. I wanted to hop on here again, get to talk to you guys, go through a few deals. Fortunately, I do not have a guest this time, which is a bummer, but you guys get me, and it'll still be fun. We're gonna have a good time. Today, we're gonna go over some questions I get asked by a lot of guys who are going through our notes, especially when they're just starting out into the note world, is what fees are involved and how does it kind of play into your guys' ROI and what that means for you as an investor. So going into notes is there's a lot of factors. You have potential of borrower payment. What does it mean if they're late? How many late fees do you get? What does it mean when you onboard with this loan and go to get it serviced? What fees are involved with that? And how does that really affect the ROI that is advertised when these loans are marketed to sale? So the goal of this is we're just going to run through that and what it means for you guys and how to calculate it on your own when you're looking at these deals. And then we'll actually get to dive in some deals like we're normally doing here. So give me just a quick second. Okay, then still learning this software, guys. I'll be better. All right, perfect. So this is going to show you guys how to run the numbers and some things to be aware of. And then the fun part is we will actually get to dive into some deals and go through them together and what it looks like, what I look for in these deals, and then what I look like when I market them out to people and normal questions I have. I did talk with a few investors this week and I jotted down their questions they asked me. So we'll go through that as well. So as just a super simple term, if you've never invested notes and you're joining this webinar just to kind of learn a little bit about it, the most simplistic way these notes generate income for you as a lender is the borrower makes the monthly payment. A loan servicer will then collect that payment. They hold it for around 5 to 10 business days, process it, make sure it clears, and then it's delivered to you. And that process is done every month, first of the month on our notes. But if you're funding loans elsewhere, it can be whenever the payment is due. But that is a standard process. So in that, when you fund these deals, there's a cycle of every loan that every loan goes through. So the borrower submit a deal. If they submit it to central lending, we do due diligence on the loan. We underwrite the deal, and we actually close the deal on our books. It's closed with a title company, boarded with our servicer. And then once that is done, I do my job and I market it to our investors for sale. And if an investor likes it, they're going to pick the loan they like. They'll get a full loan package, the due diligence package we went through on our last webinar we did with our notes. And then if they like it, they will fund it. When it's funded, the docs are recorded with the county with your name. You'll get an assignment of mortgage, the note, and the documents associated with that. The servicer will then process the monthly payments. They make sure everything stays current. Our internal servicing team will manage the relationship with the borrower. And then once the loan pays off, our third-party servicer, FCI, will handle the payoff, and then you'll receive your funds. It's a standard cycle with every loan, as long as it stays current and the borrower performs their strategy that they presented when we closed the deal. So when we market these returns, we put the returns out. It's called the investor pass-through rate. The investor pass-through rate is the rate you will receive on the money you lend when you purchase the note from central lending. So that would be this 10% here. So let's say for this example, we have a 12-month term. Your rate you will be receiving is 10%, and your loan is $100,000. So you will then go through the due diligence package. You can ask me as many questions. Happy to hop on calls with you guys and go through the package. But once you decide you want to move forward, you'll then fund that $100,000 to central lending. You'll get your recorded docs, and then the loan will be serviced and you'll receive your monthly payment. But before that, how do you calculate your return? So calculating your return is just the interest times the loan amount divided by the term. So for that example, our $100,000 12 months at 10%, your total payment is $833.33. What is important for calculating the ROI is we do have a setup fee. So that is to set the loan up with our servicer. It is a $65 setup fee. That's one time. It's paid at the right on funding once the first payment comes. And then you have a $20 monthly servicing fee. That's just so the loan is serviced and with FCI and they perform their services. It's $20 a month. And both of these fees are on any loan you fund. So if you fund multiple loans, you have a $65 setup fee on each of them. Also, things to consider with some people who do some joint entity stuff. You have two IRAs that want to fund a deal. You have an IRA and an LLC you want to split the deal with. Your $65 setup fee applies to each entity you will fund a loan under because they're parceled. So each one will have their own servicing account. So your first total monthly payment out of that is going to be $748.33. That will be your first monthly payment you get after these fees are deducted. And then going forward, your monthly recurring payment is going to be $813.33. So that is your true return that you're getting on a monthly basis. Other things to consider when you're calculating these is if you're funding it with an IRA, what is your IRA fees? What goes through any sort of custodian account, or if there's any fees associated with getting the account vested properly. Every custodian is different on how many fees they charge, what the total amount is. So consider that when you're funding these notes and you're looking at these rates. I'm not saying go and chase rate. I would never encourage that. It's all about the asset. But it is something to think about when you're diving into a deal and you see a return that's 10%. Taking into accordance with those fees with that $100,000, the payment will present that you will be receiving $833. After the fees, you're receiving $813. Now there are the benefits with that is it's completely white glove, so you just receive the monthly income. There's any deep docs about that where there's hidden fees or anything like that. It's a straight across servicing fee. But things to consider when we're looking into these deals that we're going to go through. So now the fun part, what everybody's been waiting for. So these deals that I'm talking about here is only over our deals that are coming out of processing. So these are brand new. They haven't been marketed to anybody. They will actually be going out on our note blast tomorrow with a replay of this. So I did have a message from an investor just now. If you're jetting off early, we do have a replay that'll go out with our note blast. So don't be concerned with that. You'll be able to rewatch it. So let's go through this deal and kind of dive into these docs here. So the first one here we have is 812 Westbrook Ave in Memphis, Tennessee. We have a total loan amount of $90,000. Your pass-through rate you're going to be getting on that is 10. And your credit is at 740. So they've got solid credit, great experience of 6 previous deals, and they have 4 current rentals. So this actually funds tomorrow. And this borrower is a repeat borrower. So that's good to hear. So let's pull this thing up. Let's go through the valuation. If I can find it. There it is. Okay. Stop sharing. All right, bam. Let's go through this thing. So on this, we have a square feet is 1,500. Looks like it's got 5+2. So this was done on August 13th. So this is very recent as we close soon on this loan. Market demand is somewhat weak. Something to note, subject property has the highest bed count, having 5 bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms, and a larger than average lot, all adding about 5 to 10K in value. Subject property is moderate to maintain condition and worn kitchen cabinets. Some good value. So it does have the most bedrooms on the where they pulled comps from. So going through the subject property details. So we do have some solid values on that. As you can see, it's on the super high end of the beds in the area we pulled comps from. And then middle of the road with baths. And then it is on slightly older built and on the larger side of the lots from where we pulled the comps from. Okay. So the current condition is moderate. Has a as-is value of $105,000 as it sits. Borrower's budget is $10,000, so very limited rehab budget, and the estimated ARV is $120,000. Important thing to note with this loan: this borrower is refinancing it to keep it, but that's the estimated ARV after this light rehab value. You see a lot of those loans where guys are coming into the loan and they're learning about it and they're going to keep it as a rental. So they may not be doing as heavy as rehab to get the full return on what they're getting lent on. So deferred maintenance super is a majority of that budget. We're only having $750 of rehab. Of upgrades. Our ARV is 120. As you can see, the highlighted section is what Richer Values deems as the ideal strategy, which lines up with our borrower's budget. They have about $300, $200 difference. It looks from what their ideal strategy is versus what our borrower is doing. So it has a gross return on that of 4.52%. So super quick rehab. It has a great return on it for our investors there, for our borrower. So the value is pretty good on that. So going through these comps, looks like, as you can see, these reports pull a ton of data. So that's why I get a lot of investors get a lot of value of going through it and looking what it is and the score of it. Obviously, the higher score is the best. It's the most comparable. And it pulls a lot of value, a lot of detail, and you can get a lot of value of it from the market and what's going on with the sale. So let's go through these. So we have some remodeled comps. The only thing I wish with these reports is it would put the pictures of the house first and then it would go through the comps. But all is what it is. There's no flags. So let's see what they're actually doing to the project here. So looks like they're upgrading some electrical fixtures, going through and doing the vanities and countertops, and backsplash. Just doing the vanity, $750, and then painting it up and making it look great. Like I said, they're refinancing to keep it, so they're just adding value to the property to ultimately have it in their portfolio. Nothing notable. Equal property data. It is tenant occupied. Oop. All right, here's our property. Old school brick. Got a good size lot on it. Far away shot, I guess. So yeah, it looks like they're just doing some light value add on the property and you're going to keep it. There's our interior. So you can see why they're doing upgrades on the countertops and the cabinets. is currently leased, and looks like they might be in the process of moving. Newer appliances and their HVAC. Solid value. Love it. Okay. So that gives us kind of a solid idea of what the borrower's doing on the property, what the report is. As you can see, was target condition for what Richard Values was thinking. But let's go through and kind of go through the borrower and see what the borrower has to offer and the property. So we'll go through the track record because I'm not going to share. Yes, Andrew, I see the chat. I'm not going to share the borrower's secure information, but we can go through their track record though. See what this borrower's bringing to the table. If I can pull it up. Okay. So they have done, it's like 6 flips the past 24 months. Our track record that we count as a lender is strictly what was done in the past 24 months or rentals that are currently leased by the property. If a borrower is coming to us and they have a deal that's done outside that range of that 24 months, we don't count it for experience. Markets can change a lot. Markets can change a lot in 6 months, but 24 months can give us a really solid scope of the deal and what they're capable of in finishing in that time period. So that's why what we count as for experience. Every lender is different. So I'm trying to pull up this. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. So as you can see, they got 100% ownership of these properties, which kind of range from state to state. So they did a flip in Texas, one in North Carolina, 2 in Tennessee, and then a loan in South Carolina and Tennessee again. Purchase price, construction budget, and they have sold 2 of those, and then the others are currently listed to be sold, converted to rental and copied below. Great. So they kept 2 of those at 1, 2, 3, 4. They kept 4 of them as rentals. So those are the 4 rental properties mentioned on the slide. And then they have a rental portfolio of 4 current deals, 4 current rentals that are leased. Solid borrower there. It is great with these. I got a light system. I don't know if you guys can tell, and I got a camera. Kind of gives me a little bit more professionalism instead of just being on my Mac and having to have a crazy virtual background. Through there, and this borrower is a repeat borrower and has completed a successful deal with us. So going through, we'll go through the construction budget, and then we will move on to the next deal. So what are they doing? So, yep, so they do have a little bit of borrower funded rehab on this. So they have other exterior finishes. So they have $3,500 that they're going to clean the yard, fix the fence, and power wash it. Power wash the whole house, clean it up a little bit. Electrical, $850 to ground the outlets, and $2,500 in interior paint for touch up. And And cabinets, they have $750 for new kitchen counters. And other, they have $1,500 as the entire reculk the entire house as needed. And a 5% contingency brings us to that 10 grand. So that's what that borrower is doing with this property. Experienced borrower, they've got a rental portfolio, and they are a repeat borrower of Central Lending. So brings it full circle with that. So this loan amount, just to cover again, is we have a $90,259 loan amount, 10%, 10% investor pass-through rate. And these guys have done a total of 6 previous deals, and they currently hold 4 rental properties. So that gives you a solid idea of what these borrowers are doing and what that makes for you and what your return will be on that loan. It does fund tomorrow, so these will go out tomorrow once I get all the final information, once everything is closed, and I can blast that out to everybody. Next deal. So this one actually just closed. It's in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is a solid borrower of ours. He's coming for a loan amount of $57,000. He's got a pass-through rate of 10%. He brought $8,000 down. He's got solid credit of $734 and has a total track record of 200 deals. He has a huge portfolio of rentals, very successful borrower, has done a ton of deals with us. So pulling these up, this is going to be we're going to do this comp. We're actually going to go through Zillow on this one and go through the value. Update. Yes. Yes. This guy's portfolio is absolutely insane. So we have some properties here. Let me pull up Zillow. 3110 West 20th Street, North Little Rock. I really need to do the population of this, because you guys see this portfolio that I'm going to go through. You're going to think, I don't know if Little Rock is a big town or if it's a small town, but as far as like total population, but this guy has so many rentals, I think he might own the whole town. Okay, street view. There we go. Cool. Right here. So this is our property. Kind of check out the area a little bit. Thought that guy was doing construction. I think it's just a guy wearing high vis. But that is our property. So let's go back to the map. Let's pull these lot lines. Looks like they have a recently sold here. 87,500. Very similar to the property. Our property has 2 beds and 1 bath. This looks like it's very similar. Back to search. I hate it when I do that. Let's go through 4. Okay. Got one for 87. Looks like that's the one I just went through, Kade. One at 179. This is significantly larger. What are their neighbors going for? This property, 73,000. I want to see what this lot is for. 2,600 bucks for the lot. But puts that into perspective for the deal itself. I'm always curious to look. That's one of my favorite parts when I sell these loans is just to look where the area is and kind of view the country. I say country, I mean area, of course. So I saw a little house. Let's go through this borrower. Oh, Andrew did this other one. Where's this one? This one actually has picture. It's currently sale at 97 grand. Same size. Sweet. Okay. I'm going to jump in and we're going to go through this, guys. Who this borrower is. So this guy's done a ton of deals with us. And what is he doing to this property? Looks like it has. I had all these things open and then I had to set all this camera stuff up and I closed it all down. So I apologize for the delay, but hanging out with me, so it's cool. So with our window, jump on here. So this is what he's doing with this. He's got $2,500 in demolition, demo any of the trims, sheetrock the doors. He's going to service the HVAC unit and get the inspection of the entire electrical system done. Also repair and replacement of outlets and switches. Full inspection of plumbing, including drain lines, water lines, removing current faucets. Final inspection of any electrical items such as fans, then replacement of a damaged sheetrock. Full paint job, and full replacement of current flooring with LVP. So he's doing quite a bit of rehab to this to make it look very nice. He's putting a tub in. Awesome. He's got a $2,400 budget on that thing. So back here really quick, just so I can. I wish it would let you just like switch screens really quick and instead of having to close it down on you guys and be like, oh, I got to open this back up again. So he has got that 24 grand in that rehab that he's going to do to the property. This guy, he does flip some of them eventually, but he keeps his portfolio to where he has amassed a extremely impressive portfolio. And we at Central Lending are very lucky to have him as a borrower. He's been great for us. And I know a lot of you guys on this call have actually funded this borrower's loans. So little rehab is going to keep it on his rental property. Let's go through borrower's experience. If I could pull that up. Let's go through here. Stream mode is sharing. I know the screen is sharing. Let's go through our rent roll here. Look at this stuff. This is crazy. This is this guy's experience and his rental portfolio. Just a massive portfolio. And going through, it's total, like, I'm not kidding you. This thing is like 6 pages. It's got a few listed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But just a massive portfolio. So solid borrower. This guy is going to get you a 10% rate, $57,000 loan. It's bringing 8 grand into it. It's got 24 grand roughly in rehab he's going to do. And it has a maturity date of September 1st, 2026. So a 12-month loan there, $57,000 will get you the 10% pass-through rate for this deal. Share screen. That just funded again, so it's just closed, fresh deal. Next one. So this one's out of Florida. Central Lending is located in Lakeland, Florida, so home state. And We have a $72,000 loan amount. Highest pass-through rate on this list that we have of 10.49. And that gives you borrower credit is 779. We have 7 previous deals. He's got 2 current rentals. All of this guy's deals are all in this market. So let's kind of dive through this one. Has a full Richards values on it. So we actually get to go through the loan, the package together. Valuation. Again, I got to close this and shut it, close it and shut it. Okay. Go through, get the valuation on this deal. Looks like it's 826 square feet. Got 2 bed, 2 bath, 1987 mobile home. Somewhat strong market condition contained within a subsection of a mobile home park, located with view of the ocean and next to a solar farm. It's kind of median on the square feet, average in beds, and then it's got just above average on the bathroom. And it's in the median with our year built and median with the lot size. 30 years, single family home. Again, this guy is refinancing on this deal as well. As is market value is 100,000. We have a loan on it of 72,000. He's got 20 grand of rehab to it, and his estimated ARV is 168. So it's on par with what Richard Values thinks for the strategy, which is the full rehab. We line that up with what they think is the most effective strategy on this loan for this borrower. He's got deferred maintenance makes up a majority of it with 10 grand. And then he's got 8,900 bucks in upgrades and 830 in heavy repairs. Solid return for the borrower if he did end up selling it. Again, he's keeping it. He's refinancing on this loan. Through where they pull their comps from. Looks like they actually got a comp from the same loop there, and then surrounding parks. Partial, these are nice. Let's see what these borrowers are doing. Additional comps. Subjects. And let's go to this property, look inside. 2 bed, 2 bath. It's vacant property. No severe public. Okay, here's our property. Let's look at it. Do have some damage on the side there. Solid property. I think it's fun. Andrew mentioned on the last call, there are different people do these richer values reports. And when they sign it, it's on the second page on who signed it. And you can notice as you read more of them, you request more due diligence packages that we provide. You can kind of tell who's doing it based on how many exterior photos they take. Sometimes they're overloaded and sometimes they're the minimum requirements. And then sometimes they have 100 of them, like these guys. Like this, 2 photos of our porch, utility, solid entry, tile, nice. Wood floors there. Somebody didn't like the blinds. Countertops are in good shape. Now let's dive into what this guy's actually doing. So keeping that on there. Just a second. Solid property. Yeah, this loan. So we have a loan amount of 172 on it. And then we have the Richer Values reports. We puts that as is condition at 100 grand. Get you a pass-through rate of 10.49%. And going into the budget, you can see what we have for lining out what this looks like for you guys. Share this window again. Stop share, stop share. That's why I do like to have guests on and talk to people. It kind of kills the awkwardness. So we have $110 in permits. And then that exterior wall we saw, they're going to paint $1,500 for the exterior, Sherwin white. And they're doing $500 in repairing the skirting. Drywall, they're going to do $800 throughout the house as needed. $2,000 to paint it. And then $4,000 in flooring. And they are doing $8,000 for the 2 bathroom vanities, full kitchen, cabinets, and quartz countertops. $1,800 in stainless steel microwaves and fridges and ranges. I got a contingency of $956. Total rehab of $20,000. So solid deal on that, and you can get your 10.49% return on that. So going through these, after we've kind of just got a view of what these guys are doing, what it looks like for you if you were to lend on it, let's go through and we'll actually calculate these together and go through and see your setup fees, what your total return will be. If I could figure it out. Stop share. Okay. It's going through this calculation to show again, we have the $65 setup fee and $20 servicing fee. So let's see, we have our $90,000 loan. It's a 12-month term. So one thing we also do at Central Lending is if you fund this loan, we will subtract the odd days interest from the loan, and then you get the next monthly payment. So for example, this first payment is due on October 1st. So we'll subtract the odd days interest from when we receive your funds. And then on payoff, you'll receive the full amount. So you'll actually underfund it at the beginning, and then we will recoup that at the end of the loan on payoff. But you are still earning the full interest on the entire loan. So $90,000 with $259, just so $259. What you can do, multiply that by 10. It's a $9,000 total return and $25.90. People who are analytical. Divided by 12, you get $752.15 on this deal. That is your gross payment of what you would receive monthly on this loan. So $752.15. So then you get, on your first payment, they're going to take out that $65 setup fee. So the $65 setup fee is going to leave you with $687. And then they also include the monthly servicing fee on that first payment includes that as well. It's not encapsulated in the setup fee. So you do have a $20 monthly servicing fee. So your total payment on that you would receive is $667 for the first month. That's for the first month. You're going to receive $667.15. going with the original payment, which is $752, subtract the 20, $732.15 is going to be your regular recurring monthly payment. So times that, if it goes for the length of the loan, the total received amount would be $8,785.90. So that'd be your total amount received if the loan goes through for the full term. Now, we at Central Lending, our main strategy for us as a lender and our investors who fund deals with us is capital preservation. So we do not charge pre-payoff penalties. Now, the rates as a typical loaner are annualized. So it is an annualized rate. So even if it pays off in 2 months, that payoff you got is still an annualized rate of 10%. But it's something to keep in mind that these borrowers can pay off, and it's possible. But if it were to go the full 12 months, which is on these refinance deals are common, especially when they're doing quite a bit of rehab like all these guys are, you have a total amount of $8,785.85. Subtracting the setup fee, you get $8,720.90 would be your total amount that you received if you were to fund this loan. Keep in mind, if you fund through an IRA, you do have initial fees your custodian may have initial fees when you set up one of these transactions. They may have a processing fee, doc fee, whatever it may be. So take that into consideration when you're funding these notes. And that would be your return. You get $8,720.90 if it goes for the 12 months, which is, you get your monthly payment after the setup fee is paid is $732.15. The loan is serviced for you. We will handle the communication with the borrower. All you're going to receive is the monthly payment. Once the monthly payment's received, we will process it, handle it, and deliver it to you. When the borrower submits for payoff is when you really get involved with the servicer. They'll submit a payoff request. If you approve it, our servicing company will handle it, and they will return funds to you. When that happens, I'll usually reach out, see what I can do. If you want to deploy it into a new loan or if you want to find a new deal, I'll start sending you deals once you get that payoff request. So $8,720.90 for the last time on that deal. That's what you get. You saw it. All right, Little Rock. One thing I'm going to do if we have enough time, I seriously want to do after looking at this guy's track record again, is I want to see the population of Little Rock. But we have $57,877. We're going to times that by 10%. Well, $57,787. So we have that amount, which gets you $5,787. As simple because it is 10, which is $482 is your monthly payment. So when you get your $482 monthly payment, again, you have your setup fee. So that's $65. And then you have your monthly servicing fee, which is $20. So your first payment on this loan would be $397. So what you would receive for the first month. On months going forward from that, after the first month, your monthly payment after our servicing fee is done will be $417. So months going forward, you get $417. Of course, that first month's a little low, has a bit taken out of it just because of the setup fee. The setup fee is just to set the loan up with the servicer under your entity. And then your monthly payments going on forward is $417. We can deduct it from the monthly payment, just how I've been describing. It's the easiest way to do it. But if you prefer to receive the full interest payment, we can do that. And then they will send you an invoice every month. Not preferable, but if you would like to do that, it's something we can set up. And you have the $417 is what you would receive on this monthly payment. Again, same process, right? Borrower pays off. You want to deploy your capital into more loans. I am more than happy to help you once you receive the payoff notice. So we do have our $72,533. We have a 10.49% interest rate on this. which is $7,608.71. So total, if it were to go to the life of the loan again, remember the full 12 months or 24 months. This one is a 12-month loan. Central lending will lend up to 24 months. You get $634.05 is your gross payment, what you're owed. Subtracting your $65 setup fee and your $20 monthly servicing fee, you get $549 would be your first monthly payment, is what would come out. Your first monthly payment is $549, and every month recurring after that is $614. So 614, if it goes to the life of the loan, -65. Your total return on that would be $7,303.71 is what would be received if it went the life of the loan. Reason, and I had a question asked, and we're kind of segueing into our question section that I had from the few people I spoke to this week, is if you have, the reason we don't charge people, as I mentioned before, for a payoff penalty, I know it can happen, we don't guarantee that it will go the term, is I don't want to penalize a borrower for giving our capital back. Central lending originates these funds using investor dollars. So we want the money back. We do not want to foreclose on these assets. We want the borrower to perform. We want the borrower to succeed. As well, we want the loan to be a successful deal and get our capital back is our main goal and strategy with these deals. So when you guys are diving into those loans, keep in mind that payment and those fees you set up, again, super important as well with IRAs. I want to hit on that because your IRAs do have additional fees potentially, depending on your custodian. If you don't know, they can give you, most custodians have a fee schedule on their website. And it's just under promissory note. They may have specific fees for them in the promissory note section. Going forward with that, your deals you got, just as a recap before we get into these questions. I know Ryan is wanting me to answer these questions, so I'm going to get to them. I promise. It's just a recap on this. So we have 821 Westbrook Ave in Memphis, Tennessee, $90,000 loan. You get a 10% rate. It's a 12-month term. Borrower credit is $740. Solid deal. These will be going out on our note blast tomorrow. So that's the first deal. And then we have our Little Rock deal, which is $57,877. You get your 10% pass-through rate. Down payment on that one was $8,000. And then your borrower credit $730. This is the guy with the ton of experience. He's a repeat borrower. He's done a ton of deals with central lending. So super experienced borrower. For us, and then we have the $72,000 loan, which is the highest rate on this loan on the deals I'm going to be sending out, which is 10.49%. So this is going to be your best rate. And it is in Florida, local to our home office there. So I will be sending these out again tomorrow with a replay of this. If you missed it or you guys had to hop off, one thing to mention is we do have our note blast, which is on the screen now. Scan that QR code, grab it, and then we will I'll be able to add you to our note blast and put in a note if you have a specific deal you want to talk about or a specific area you prefer to fund loans. I'll cherry pick those deals for you. I'll be able to help you guys get that picked out. I don't know why I'm in the screen. There we go. I'll be able to cherry pick a deal for you. And one thing I also do is once I cherry pick those deals and I find one that you like and it's in an area you're comfortable with, I will do kind of like how I did just on this call where I went through the valuation. We'll go through the full loan package. Unfortunately on these, because it is going online, I can't go through a lot of the loan package because it is a secure doc. The valuation is different because it's public information. But I'll go through that with you guys and we'll find a deal that fits you. So the big question I had for people is I mean, the big question I was asked this week on my note calls where I hopped on and we went through these deals is what should I look out for when I'm funding these? And then what is a good kind of starting point to put on for our for funding them? And do you have a base criteria? So important thing is central lending underwrites these loans and originates these deals with the intent to keep them on our portfolio. So we do intend to keep them. Of course, our main strategy for our fund investors is to arbitrage it and deploy capital into a loan, recapture it from a sell to either a private investor or a capital partner, and then go deploy it into a new deal, because we do keep that interest strip on those loans. But they are underwritten to central lending's guidelines, which is our 70% loan to value, what that means, and our track record where it's that 24 months minimum. That is what we underwrite these loans to. So when you guys go through and you look through these, if you're just starting out as a note buyer, you can kind of get, there's a lot of terms that people use. It's a big industry, right? So people use different things. So I made this because I had a lot of calls this week where it was going over these terms and what everything means for us as a lender. So here are the terms we used in regularly used in funding these deals. So we have our track record. Again, this is different for everybody in the industry. Every lender has different track record requirements, but it's in reference to our borrowers' experience. Here's what counts. So we at Central Lending, we count any fix and flips that are done in the past 24 months, any rental properties with a current lease, and then any ground up construction as the past 24 months is the deals we will consider as a provable track record from our borrowers. And we don't count is any fix and flips outside of 24 months. So sometimes on those loan blasts I send out, if you're on our email list, it'll say track record 0. Doesn't necessarily mean that this guy or borrower has never done a real estate transaction in his life. It just means that they haven't done one within the past 24 months. So therefore, we as the lender do not count it with our track record. And then any vacant land, it does not count as a experience. Any personal homes and any ground up construction outside of 24 months for the same reason as our fix and flips. And then any vacation properties that are not secured by a lease. Just because you own it, it's a vacation property, doesn't mean that it's a true track record that you can count for experience. So that is kind of going through what counts as the track record. Sorry, I'm kind of stalling there. I don't know why that just shot. I gotta forget this, more casual. So when you look at our note blast, it says, what does loan to value mean? It'll have loan to value, or it'll have LTV ARV. So what does that mean? If you're new to funding notes, our loan to value measures the loan amount as a percentage of the property's value. It's used by you guys to assess risk. A lower loan to value can indicate a lower level of risk just because the value of the property. And then the loan to value after repair value, the loan to value after repair value, it's based on the property after the repairs have been completed. So after rehab is complete, the borrower's budget, that is the LTV we calculate off of, is once the rehab is complete. So that is how you calculate that, is the loan amount divided by the property value times 100. And that'll give you your total loan to value percentage where we base that. So that goes through our different types of down payments, which we do cash downs, which is just where the borrower brings down cash to close the deal. And we will do cash outs, cash out refinances on loans. So if you see where it says down payment on our loan blast, it says cash out, it means the borrower pulled money out of the deal. So we do have states where we do lend in judicial and non-judicial states. So judicial states mean that the foreclosure process, in the event of default, the lender will have to go through the court system to foreclose on the asset officially. And it's all about the foreclosure process and what that means. So for foreclosure in a judicial state is a lot more rigid than foreclosure in a non-judicial state. So when you're lending, and to kind of circle back and answer the question that I was asked by our one of the folks I had a conversation with, is how do I know? So I will provide you a map in this in the note blast that's going out of judicial versus non-judicial states. Some states have both, they can go through both ways. And when you ask, hey, what does that mean when what kind of lending criteria should I build? What should I look out for? What should I have? What should I take into consideration when I'm lending on these deals? We underwrite the deals and have a full due diligence package on them that we will provide you. But as you get more familiar with docs, you're going to find things that have a lot of value to you and are more important to you than, say, the person who's originating the debt. So for example, if a borrower if it's a $100,000 loan, it's got $50,000 worth of rehab, and the borrower has a track record of, say, 6 deals, and it has a 10% rate, versus a loan where a borrower has a credit score of 750 and has a track record of 1 deal in the past 24 months and is a 11% rate. Does credit mean more to you, or does the experience mean more to you? Does rate mean the most to you, or where do you derive value from when you're funding these deals? Because we underwrite the deal, so you will be able to show what you'll be able to see our guidelines, but every lender creates their own kind of process of what they look for. So, gosh dang it. I hate it when I do this. Anyways, the last thing was what to watch out for. So what I watch out for is kind of remote borrowers with no experience, new borrowers if you're funding new loans. It's not that these things are necessarily like a stop, you shouldn't fund it. It's just something to look into. Property location, where is it located? What kind of neighborhood is it in? One thing, if they are a repeat borrower or they've done other deals with us, have they had multiple extensions? Are they constantly requesting extensions? What does that mean? Poor liquidity, if the borrower doesn't have cash. And then high loan to value and LTV ARV, that's pretty standard. The higher the loan to value is something to look out for. The lower the loan to value is where your lenders usually are more comfortable. Judicial states, I put this on there again. These are all just preference, like something to look in for. This doesn't mean to not fund deals that have these things with them. It just means it's something to watch out for as a first-time note buyer. High construction costs, and then population and payment timing as a new borrower. So when you're going through those deals, it really is important to build your own lending criteria, to build your own box, and go through. And I'm happy to hop on a call with you guys and go through what that means to you as an individual, what it means to be a private lender individually and creating your own lending criteria. But again, please feel free. I'm going to put up our note blast email. So feel free to scan that real quick and join our note blast. I will add it to you. I will personally reach out and we'll see if we can find you a deal if you have specific lending criteria, if you have a state you want to be in versus a state you don't want to be in. And then if you want, what you're looking for on rate, what your total amount of capital you have to deploy is. So scan that. I'm happy to reach out to you guys. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. I hope next time I'll get a guest on so I can have somebody to talk to and hang out with. But I'm happy to go through these deals. I think this will be fun. My kind of goal is I will build a specific loan package that kind of is redacted so we can go into a little bit more detail on the next call. As a request I've got to actually go through a full due diligence package. So I will do that on the next call we're on, and scan again and shoot me a message in the note section on that form that says, hey, I was on the the note strategy hour, here's what I'm looking for, or hey, I'm brand new, I would love to hop on a call, and I'll schedule a call with you guys and we'll go through our deals. All right. I don't have any questions. All right, thank you guys. We'll see you next time, and next time we'll be going through a full due diligence package. So scan that, and I will reach out, schedule a call with you, and find you a deal. All right, thanks, guys.